Benny Crocker, what can we all do to help you?
We all stood up and were given 2 questions that we were notified that we had to answer. And for me, I notified the boys about my personal circumstances.
My old man has Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed with it about 6 years ago. So from him back then to, he still worked, he still did most of that, but now he's effectively can't do anything. Like, I was wiping his ass and showering him and stuff at home, so we probably don't have too many more years left with him.
When I was young, I used to be embarrassed I had a father that was ill because none of my friends were going through that. In my first couple of years at Collingwood, I didn't really want to tell anyone, but that was probably because I was still a bit young and wasn't quite sure of myself where I sat with it. I just think for them to understand me fully as a person, it's probably best for me to get myself out there and tell them. It's not something I'm embarrassed about. It's actually something that I'm quite proud that I'm dealing with.
So yeah, there's times where I'm probably going to be a little bit stressed about that. Obviously leaving my brother and my mum to deal with it isn't easy for me, so I reckon, yeah, sometimes just understanding that my head's probably somewhere else at times. That's probably the biggest thing that you guys can probably do for me right now, yeah.
I've got great feedback from everyone and they were really pleased that I shared that. And yeah, it just makes it a bit easier for me transitioning. I was such a fortunate kid. Went to a great school, always lived in nice houses. Was probably a bit of a rat bag when I was younger, but for me, a lot of my spare time at home was hanging out with Dad. And that was something that I loved doing, and yeah, I think every day off I used to go home and kick the footy in the backyard with him and just kind of hang out with him, because obviously the time that I have left with him isn't a whole heap, and he's not going to be around for a lot of my adult life. So yeah, the major thing for me was just enjoying time with family and embracing the time left that we have with him.
Gives it to Crocker, has a think about giving off by hand, turns the corner, kicks a goal.
We spoke about it as a family after Collingwood notified me that I wouldn't be playing there next year. We just spoke about the fact that if Dad knew what was going on and he could communicate, he would definitely want me to come over here. There's absolutely no way he'd want me to give up my dream of playing footy.
Pick 21, Adelaide.
Player number 715918, Ben Crocker, Collingwood Football Club.
I think the major feeling was excitement, but there was a little bit of stress involved. Obviously, I didn't want to leave Dad and I didn't leave my mum and my brother, and I know when I was at the airport, my mum started crying, so yeah, it's going to be a little tough on her, but yeah, she knows that this is my dream, and I think me coming to Adelaide is a really good fresh start for me. For me personally, my personality and the tattoos and stuff, the way I look at it is life's so short, and I've seen that with my dad, that I'm not going to second guess what I want to do. Like, I'm going to enjoy being who I am. I'm going to express myself. And yeah, just looking at Dad, I know that life's not always the way you think it's going to pan out. So at the same time, don't get me wrong, if I could change the way things were, I would do it in the drop of a hat. But it's made me grow as a person so much more. I'm so much more mature than what I was when I was 16, 17, 18, and I've really grown into a fine young man that I'm actually really proud of, and hopefully I'll have a major influence in the on-field success, but also just in terms of making the club a better place. I'd love to have an impression like that left on the Adelaide Football Club.